going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Superpower Review. The episode is finally here. The one that you guys have been constantly bothering me for, well, not bothering because I'm happy to do it, is that Venomverse. Venomverse is finally here. I'm a little behind, but we're finally going to be doing a Venomverse episode here for you guys. We got 2 issues to review, so I don't want to waste any time because we only have a half hour. So I want to get right into it. I want to thank my guest and welcome my guest, Joe Reed. Hello.
What's up, man?
What's going on? Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while on the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute.
Appreciate you having me back.
No problem. It's always nice to have a die-hard Venom fan for these Venom comic reviews. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into Venomverse number 1, shall we? So, Joe, let's do a quick synopsis here, okay? So pretty much what happens in 1 is that Venom gets sent to another universe, which is very, very Marvel. That's all I'm gonna say at that. And finds out there's more Marvel characters with the Venom symbiote from other universes, correct?
This is very true.
This is very true. A other symbiote is hunting down the other symbiotes. The other symbiotes called poisons.
Right, and it's I don't know if they're technically symbiotes, but it's like another type of race.
Another race, yeah. I've heard a couple of people say symbiotes, but race, symbiotes, whatever. It's hunting down the the symbiotes, and it's using their symbiotes for energy.
This is true, yes. It actually consumes the host and uses their body as like a fuel to power the symbiote. It does like evolve the symbiote. So technically it becomes a symbiote. So you might be right, I might be wrong, who knows?
Who knows? It doesn't matter. You know what? All the people who hated on our video together for our Venom 150, they're already typing right now like wrong.
Yep.
So we find out there's a bunch of other symbiotes. Venom, Eddie Brock wants to know why he's being sent to this other universe. We don't really find out till later until they explain to him what's happening. And then they get barraged by the poisons, correct?
Yeah, by the Hulk.
Yeah, by the Hulk poison. What did you think about the look of the Hulk poison?
I think they're pretty interesting looking, really.
I really like the look of them, actually. It's different.
Yeah, I really dig it. And the Elizabeth Torque variants, it focuses on those ones.
Yeah.
And they look nice. I really like them.
So pretty much, where they were staying, it gets ambushed by the poisons who have been hunting them down. They have to make a retreat. And Spider-Man, Venom tag along. They're tagged along. This was my favorite part of one of the comics, actually, because I really like it when two people who really have conflict with each other have no choice but to team up. And I really like this team up for some reason.
It was pretty interesting. I liked that Brock basically told him just because he has a symbiote doesn't mean that he has what it is, he doesn't have what it takes to take him on.
Yeah, there were a couple of panels that were some really good trash talking.
Yeah, it was really cool. The one thing that kind of bummed me out, though, is when the Hulk did initially attack, the Poison Hulk, he literally killed Agent Venom right off bat.
I'm so happy you went back to that, yeah, because I was not expecting Agent Venom to be killed off so soon because he is a strong asset to this Venom team.
Right. And the franchise, if you really think about it. But
sure.
I thought it would have been really cool just to see Eddie Brock and Flash Thompson interact with each other, but man, that was cut short.
And to going back to until the second issue, I already thought that Captain America was dead already, and I didn't find out till reading 2 that he was captured. I had no clue of that. I thought he was killed, just like Agent Venom, because we don't see Agent Venom in issue number 2.
Right. Now that is kind of interesting.
So, pretty much poisons, okay, you can't have the poisons touch you because if they touch you, they just automatically absorb your symbiote. And so, again, Spider-Man and Venom are tagging along, trying to escape. And again, the trash talk in this one was really good. I really enjoyed the paneling, and I loved the emotion in these panels of these angry faces going at it.
Right. The artwork was actually really gritty, and that's what I expect in a Venom comic. And I mean, this book pretty much nailed it with at least, I don't know. I can't even explain it really. They did a really good job with this one. Everything's really gritty and really just, I don't know, bold.
It is pretty bold, yeah.
It's not childish.
Now, you brought up artist. The artist to these books, the inside book is Ivan Coelho. Would you take him over Sandoval?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Just simple, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Sandoval, he does an amazing Venom, but this guy, it's just, he's got a very, I don't know, I like the detail in it a lot.
Yeah.
It's less boxy.
I think it, I don't know really how to describe it, but I felt like Sandoval's a little more flat.
Yeah, it's almost got like a graffiti type of style.
Yeah, for Sandoval it does. Yeah, for this one, you can see the meanness in these characters, which I really liked.
Right.
But again, I really liked the duo of these two, Spider-Man and Venom. They end up encountering Dr. Octopus, who I really didn't care for the look of Doc Ock. I actually had to think about it and say, who is this guy?
I actually had a few people message me about it, like, man, what do you think about that Doc Ock poison? And I was just like, well, the only thing I'm happy about is Venom literally kills him. And that's how they figure out how to fight these things back. They figure out they can die. Yeah. So I feel like he was purposely drawn like that because he was just meant to be killed off.
Yeah, because he doesn't really seem important. These panels are really, really cool. There's one time where Venom really gets really hurt. He gets impaled.
Yes.
And he has to go with his suit in order to heal him. This was something new for me. I've read a lot of Venom books, but I know the symbiote is bulletproof, but I didn't know about the symbiote healing you.
Right, and I'm glad you actually said that because, like you said, it's bulletproof. He's been stabbed. Like, he can feel the knife or whatever, but it never cuts him. But, yes, the poison literally goes through the symbiote into the host and impales him, and he literally starts yelling at the symbiote, come on, heal me up, heal me up.
Right.
I've never seen that.
So I'm not the only one then. Okay, I thought I was the only one. Like, I didn't know the symbiote could do that.
I mean, it can do some healing properties a little bit to, I guess broken bones and stuff like that, but I've never seen him literally
a hole through the body.
Well, actually, come to think of it, Flash Thompson did get he got impaled by I believe Eddie Brock's toxin back in the Agent Venom series. So I guess he can heal. I mean, that may have been the first two times that that's happened, but it's definitely something new.
To quickly finish up number one, again, Venom and Spider-Man are fighting a poisoned Doc Ock. Spider-Man gets beat up pretty good, and then he is taken by one of the poisons.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I thought Poison Spider-Man looked wicked cool, okay?
He really, really did, actually. And for a minute there, I was almost confused, like, way back when he first showed previews. Was that anti-Venom?
I thought the same thing.
Everybody thought the same thing, apparently. And then it kind of looked like, it almost looks like Superior Iron Man. Like the color of his suit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. That's
that
true.
look to it.
So, you guys, okay, and when I mean you guys, you and Josh were like, oh, Kevin, you got to pick up Venomverse. It's so good. Now, this has been my first new comic book pickup and about 2 months now, okay? I haven't picked up any new comic books recently because they're just meh, but you guys were like, you gotta pick up Venomverse, it's wicked good. And then, you know, I see this white Spider-Man and someone's like, oh, check out white Spider-Man. I go, that's Spider-Man? I'm like, okay, now I have to pick it up. And people saying it's really good, I gotta pick it up. It looks good. And then after reading the first issue, it was a grab. It grabbed me.
I personally think this is doing a better job of storytelling than the actual Venom series going on right now. The whole Land Before Crime thing.
Agreed.
Just not feeling it.
Agreed.
150, it was pretty strong, regardless of everybody's reviews, all the art and blah, blah, blah. I thought it was pretty strong. What it's turned into since then, it's just not strong. Have I messaged you, dude, you got to pick up the new Venom one, whatever. Like, no. This is pretty much the best Venom book right now that you can read.
That's number 2, which is what we're going to get. But first.
Yep. Oh, yes, it is. My bad.
Joe, out of everything you read on issue number 1 with artwork, if you were, you know, I like to use the CGC grading as to giving a rating on something. What would you give Venomverse number 1 for a rating?
I'd give it a solid 9.0.
A 9.0? Wow, that's high.
It's high, but it's not 9.8. But there's certain little things about it, like the healing thing, you know. Maybe it was something he could do, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not really too sure about that. But the one thing that kind of throws me off about it all is in the very beginning of the issue, Eddie and Jack-o'-lantern are having this, like, crazy brawl.
Yeah.
And they're talking like, you know, we're going to settle this once and for all, blah, blah, blah. Like, Flash and Jack-o'-lantern had the animosity with each other.
Yeah,
they had the rivalry. They never showed Eddie Brock, like, get mistaken as him. Like, he comes after him, like, assuming it's Flash. They never did that. It was just kind of like those two just picked it right up, like, oh, yeah, we're going to finish this. And it's like, well, Eddie was never involved, you know? So that was the one thing right off bat. It kind of threw me off guard. But other than that, I think the artwork, the storytelling is actually pretty good. Colin Bunn's actually doing really good with this. But just certain little things, you know.
9.0. Well, I'm gonna give it a 8.0.
Whew.
An 8.0. Yeah, I don't feel like it deserves a 9. But it is good. It made me grab it. It piqued my interest to grab it, especially after you guys were like, Kevin, get it, Kevin, get it. My only drawback is with story. And I just, you know, it's just the same thing. Like, hey, let's take this character and let's just put him through a portal into another universe because Marvel has thousands and thousands and thousands of universes. It's just hard to keep up with. And so I feel like that was just kind of the weakest point of the whole thing. But I really love the creativity of putting the symbiote suits on these other Marvel characters.
Yeah, I really do dig all that. And you are right. It is pretty generic. It's pretty much Spider-Verse. But
yeah, it is.
Like I said, the actual Venom ongoing series is just boring to me.
It is.
I'm enjoying this.
Now, would you enjoy it more if this was part of the Venom comic book instead of Venomverse? Or would that not matter to you?
I mean, it'd probably make more sense than Land Before Crime.
Yeah, it would. Well, good point, you know, good point.
If it's just weird. It's what a Venom comic could be, and then next to it is the other stuff. Just weird.
All right, so let's get to issue number 2.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Issue number 2 just leaves off with Spider-Man getting taken by a poison, and then Venom and this poison Spider-Man get into a huge brawl. This brawl is absolutely epic, okay?
Yeah.
It really is. And you know what? When I was reading this, Joe, I was saying to myself, I go, because there's like lines where he said like, oh, I'm going to beat you like Spider-Man never had or something like that. And then like I was like, oh man, like imagine if we did get fight scenes like this in Spider-Man comics though, instead of just Venom like, you know, really ripping the crap out of Spider-Man. But he just...
The one thing that was interesting about it is he, like you said, he pretty much saw him, you know, he's always wanted to kill you, but he's just never had the guts.
No, yes, exactly, perfect. But
that was cool.
This white Spider-Man really kicks the crap out of Venom. These panels, this whole fight scene was really epic, really great.
It really was. Once again, he shows Eddie getting impaled. And then he's pretty much getting slammed around, and he's just like, literally no contest at all.
And
but
then
he had to pretty much rely on the rest of the symbiote team members to pretty much scene.
And then the cavalry comes and saves him.
And if it weren't for that, I'm pretty sure that would have been the end of it.
I really like the designs. You know, I was just saying how I really like the designs of how Marvel took these characters in symbiotes, but it's really cool to see them as these poisons too. Really creative, really cool. I really love this white Spider-Man, and I feel like this should be like an alternate costume for the upcoming comics.
That's the thing, though. There's a chance of something happening into this that will bleed over into the actual Venom storyline later on down the road. Maybe. I can imagine.
Then we find out that Captain America is not dead, just like you know, like I thought Agent Venom was dead, but we find out that he is not dead, and then he is taken by the poisons.
Yeah, pretty much, and they keep sending in what appears to be Emma Frost to try and talk to him, to get him to lower his guard and just accept what it is.
Right.
But that's the thing with these little poisons. It's like they're little tiny white creatures, and they like trick you. I remember in issue 1, when Eddie first gets brought to the universe, he thinks he sees his kid, and he's like, you know, what is going on? And the little kid almost touches him. Right.
And then go ahead.
I was going to say, they just keep trying to like trick you and break you.
Right. And so by doing that, you know, the reason why Spider-Man turned into a poison is because this poison tricked him by showing itself as Aunt May, and then just eventually takes him over. Again, more action in these panels. Really cool fight scene. Cavalry ends up helping Venom with the other symbiotes. Now, Spider-Man ends up leaving. Leaving the fight.
Yep. It ends up becoming too much for him to handle.
Yeah. This was a really good fight scene, but this was also toward the middle of the comic, a little more story, because then we find out Brock ends up finding out what these poisons are, correct?
Yeah. Basically, they pretty much all catch him up to what's going on with the whole situation. And the thing that I thought was cool was he basically told him, like, you know, just send me back. I can handle myself if these things come for me. Because they're telling him they'll find you no matter where you go. Right. And he just tells all of them pretty much, like, I'll deal with them on my own. Just send me back. Which I thought was just classic Brock.
It is, yeah. You know, the big brawler. Like, let him come get me. I'll take care of that problem when it comes to me, right?
He's just pretty much talking down to all the other symbiote hosts, too. Like, that's another good thing.
And then we see this on the next page, too, after that whole catching up. We get this next page of Captain America changed into the poison, and we see other characters such as Sabretooth, Scarlet Witch, and Hawkeye. Really creative with the designs of these characters' costumes. So Captain America is on the other side now.
Yep. They basically just tried to get him to go willingly, and he wouldn't let it happen, so they just took him by force.
And then
it's kind of funny because Hawkeye looks like some sort of Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah, he does. He does. And then for the ending of the issue, we find out that Dr. Doom, a poisoned Dr. Doom, is pretty much behind all of this. Wasn't really too crazy about his design, really. I thought he was kind of one of the weakest He's right next to Dr. Octopus in my opinion.
Yeah, this is true. His design is a little funny, and I honestly wasn't surprised to see Doctor Doom as the main poison.
Oh, really? I was. I totally was.
I mean, it had to be somebody like him. It's either like Magneto or who else would lead a group of changed mutants and heroes or villains? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it would have to be.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. It kind of caught me off guard, and then I was like, Doctor Doom. I wish it kind of was somebody else, but.
They also Venomverse War Stories. They show a little like side story of him becoming the symbiote, which is kind of funny because he thinks he's like dominating the symbiote, but it's actually dominating him.
Right.
But
And then
the way that's
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say the way they showed his story, the way it went about, it kind of like he's not part of this team. So there's a lot of characters that they've showed in all these like Edge of Venomverse stories that we're not seeing in Venomverse. So I'm expecting them to already be taken over or something.
Well, I didn't, as you know, I didn't get into Edge of Venomverse for multiple reasons. But when you guys said Venomverse was a go-to, then I ended up picking it up. So the last panel we see on issue 2 is pretty much Deadpool. Does Deadpool have a plan to get rid of the poisons, or is he siding with the poisons?
Well, the way he is, I'm assuming that he has some sort of a plan. He's probably crazy enough to be able to take over the poison or whatever. Somehow or another, he's got a plan. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure. We don't really have time to go into it, but issue 3
came out today,
which is him right there stabbing the Venom symbiote. Something happens towards the end where the poisons are talking about how they're going to like do this huge attack or whatever, and it kind of zooms in on Deadpool's eyes, and he doesn't say anything. He's just like watching them talk about it. So that makes me believe that he did it on purpose. He just pretty much just walked out there and was just like, all right, well, just take me. Let's do this.
Yeah, right. A little sneak peek for the next issue already. See, Joe's already giving you a sneak peek.
Yeah, just the cover. That's all you're getting, baby. That's it.
So go to your local comic book store because it is Wednesday and it's New Comic Book Day, and issue 3 is out.
Yep.
And a review will be coming next on that. So Venomverse number 2, what's your grade on that?
It's still the same grade.
Same grade.
You know, like you said, it's typical cash grab Marvel bullcrap, but it's entertaining at the same time, at least for me. It's the only character I really collect or care about, so for me it's entertaining. The grittiness, the brutality of it, that's what's really got my attention, and the artwork definitely has my attention. The story, typical reused story, but it's very interesting. They're going about it a very different way.
Agreed.
And, I'm pretty excited to see where it's going, actually.
This is a 5-issue series, correct?
Yes, and the Edge of Venomverse was a 5-issue, like, I don't know, build-up. It was essentially the same thing as Edge of Spider-Verse. It was 5 issues to show characters. A lot of people think that that's actual Venomverse, but it's just showcasing these characters and their symbiotes.
Right. Well, I'm going to have to totally agree with you on this. Same grade for me. I'm going to have to give it an 8.0. 9.0 is just too high for me, but 8.0, yeah. But
you got to get it pressed, man.
Huh?
You got to get it pressed.
But I do agree with everything you say here. It is the basic blueprint Marvel's using with these universes. Again, love the brutality of these fight scenes in these comic books. It's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more edgier than the actual Venom solo story that's going on. I got the new issue of that today. I kind of scanned through it. I noticed they changed the artist up for interior artwork. So,
good.
Who knows where that's going to go? But there's a lot of stuff coming up with that Venom storyline in general. So I'm excited to see Venom Inc. That's what I'm excited about. The whole new Lethal Protective thing, not really too interested. Venomverse, I'm interested.
Venomverse is really good. It does have me hooked. Where after this show is done, I'm gonna go pick up number 3 and I'm gonna read it. So it is
Sure.
good enough for me to go to my comic book store to pick up a brand new comic. So I highly recommend it. It's a good read. It's entertaining. Good panel work, good artwork, and again, I love the brutality in these fight scenes in these comics. And it's for artwork, art-wise, like I said, with these poison suits and the symbiote suits, it's very creative.
Yeah, man, it's definitely interesting. Like I said, it's the same as Spider-Verse, but it's way different.
It's
way different.
It's Spider-Verse, but yet they took out the spider and added Venom, and
Right.
it became Venomverse.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. It's definitely interesting.
So pretty much, we had 2 issues to do. We gave you guys a quick synopsis because I'm sure you already read the comic book. If you hadn't read the comic book, I hope we didn't give too much away. But it's a book to definitely pick up. I highly recommend it. My guest obviously highly recommends it, right, Joe? Yeah,
Man. Totally.
He's doing the twiddly fingers, totally. And then, go ahead.
I was about to say, I definitely recommend it. I have been to a lot of people. Everybody keeps messaging me about it. I've been recommending it.
It is Joe Reed approved. It's got the big red Reed stamp on it. Bam.
Yep. The other Venom doesn't.
Venom, my favorite character. Venom, one of your favorite characters. I know you're a huge Old Man Logan fan as well. But Joe, that's the end of our show already. That went by really fast.
Yeah, that did actually.
So
time flies when you're having fun, man.
When you're talking about Venom, it's fun and time flies by. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I hope to have you back for more Venomverse issue reviews.
Absolutely, man. Either that or Venom Inc.
Venom Inc. That's coming as well. The possibilities are endless because Marvel is just
cashing out, baby.
Cash grabbing on all this Venom material. So, Joe, thank you so much. Guys, that's going to wrap up today's show. I hope you really liked this review, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, and if you like this channel, you can also subscribe to it. If you'd like to be a guest, like my friend Joe was today, you can always email the show at superpowerreview9@gmail.com. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon.